So you're in tech. You've definitely heard of the IEEE. Maybe a professor, maybe a boss told you, you gotta join. But is it actually worth it? Is it worth your money? That's what we're gonna dig into.
And look, this isn't just some abstract debate. This is a real post from a student on Reddit asking, is the student membership worth it? And you see this question pop up all the time. So, is it a real career booster, or is it just, another line item for your resume? Let's break it down. Okay, so before we can even argue about whether it's worth it, we kind of have to get on the same page. What is the IEEE, really? I mean, beyond just the famous acronym. So here's the official line: the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. And it is the world's largest technical professional organization. That's huge. Their whole mission is about advancing technology for the benefit of humanity. Sounds incredible, right? But what does that actually mean for you, day to day? A good way to understand it is to compare it to another big name, the ACM. Now, the ACM is laser-focused on computer science. We're talking theory, algorithms, the pure software side of things. The IEEE, on the other hand, is much broader. It's more engineering-centric. It's about hardware, power systems, and that crucial place where hardware and software meet. It's not about one being better. It's about figuring out which one is your world. All right, so now that we know what it is, let's get to the good stuff. What's the sales pitch? What are the benefits you're actually paying for? I've broken down their promises into what I'm calling 3 main pillars. And those 3 pillars are knowledge, career, and community. Pretty simple, right? It's all about staying on the cutting edge of tech, actually getting the job you want, and, not doing it all alone. So let's kick things off with that first pillar, knowledge. Okay, one of the biggest, and I mean biggest perks is access to the IEEE Xplore Digital Library. This thing is an absolute goldmine of research papers. But here's a super common mistake. A lot of people think they can only get into it when they're physically on campus. That is just not true. And I'm going to let you in on a little hack. The very first time you do this, you do have to be on your institution's network. From there, just head over to your Xplore settings, find Remote Access, and sign in with your personal IEEE account. You click one button and boom! Your device is now paired for a full 90 days of access from anywhere. Seriously, knowing this one trick can totally change how much value you get. All right, so you've got access to all this knowledge. That's awesome. But let's be real, for most of us, the end goal is a great career, right? So let's talk about that second pillar. How does an IEEE membership actually help you land that next big opportunity? Well, let's just start with the number, 5,874. What is that? That's how many employers are actively posting jobs on the IEEE job site. And listen, this isn't like some generic job board where you're sifting through junk. This is a highly focused platform with jobs meant specifically for engineers and tech professionals. And it goes way beyond just a list of jobs. They have a full-blown mentoring program, services to help you polish your resume, a career newsletter that hits your inbox weekly, and even discounts on courses to keep your skills sharp. Oh, and if you're a freelancer, there's a whole database to help you find clients. It's like a complete career-building toolkit. And that brings us to our third and final pillar, community. And the scale here is just mind-boggling. We're talking about a network of 365,000 people in 150 different countries. Just think about that. Whether you're going to a small local chapter meeting or a massive international conference, the potential to connect with people in your field is absolutely enormous. Okay, so far it all sounds pretty great, right? A treasure trove of knowledge, a career toolkit, a global network. But you knew there was a but coming. Let's flip the coin over. It's time for the cross-examination. Is all this value real, or is it just clever marketing? And let's go right back to that Reddit thread we started with. One of the top comments? 2 words. Not useful. Ouch. But that really captures how a lot of people feel. They sign up, maybe a professor pushed them into it, they pay their dues, and then crickets. They just don't feel the benefit in their day-to-day life. And this is probably the #1 objection you hear. Why on earth would I pay for information when I have Google? And you know what? It's a totally fair question. We live in an age of free information, so why is this stuff behind a paywall? Well, the counterargument comes down to 2 words, quality and authority. Check this out. Over 60,000 patents cite research from IEEE publications. You know how many patents cite Google? 0. Because when the stakes are really high, when you are building something new and protecting it, you can't rely on random, unvetted stuff. You need peer-reviewed, trusted information. And that's the difference. All right, let's talk about the other elephant in the room, the price tag. Sure, the student membership is cheap, but once you go pro, those dues can be a significant chunk of change, and it really stings if your company isn't footing the bill. So, what does the IEEE say to that? Well, their response is basically twofold. First, they frame it as a personal investment in your own career, regardless of who's writing the check. And second, they'll point out that, hey, compared to what doctors or lawyers pay for their associations, IEEE membership can be up to 30% cheaper. It's all about perspective. Okay, so we've heard the good, we've heard the bad, we've heard the sales pitch and the skepticism. Where does that leave us? What's the final verdict? Well, the truth is, there isn't one simple answer. It really truly depends on you. Think of it like this, as a kind of value equation. If you're a passive member, meaning you sign up and that's about it, the value is going to be pretty low. But if you are an active member, if you're actually using the library, trying to publish papers, using those career tools, going to events, then the value can be absolutely huge. It really is a classic case of you get out what you put in. And what's valuable changes over time. For students, it's all about access to papers and conference discounts. If you find yourself unemployed, they have reduced dues programs and job hunting tools. And then, when you're a seasoned pro, it becomes about getting recognition as a leader in your field. And hey, getting that fancy engraved plaque for becoming a senior member doesn't hurt either. So we come back to the big question. Is the IEEE a powerful career accelerator? Or is it just a very expensive newsletter? Ultimately, the answer doesn't lie with the IEEE itself. It lies with you. All the tools are there, but you're the one who has to pick them up and use them.